All right, recording is started. So we will go directly to where we left off last time. Okay, so I was discussing the grahas. Before that, what we'll do is we will go through the basic syllabus, what you need to learn. So, Atar, my understanding is that you and Somesh will teach this to younger kids. Okay, right? I will briefly discuss the syllabus that you will need to learn to first be able to teach. Okay, because I think we have very few, 2 or 3 classes remaining that Sunita Bhagini was telling me about. So this is the basic syllabus: Panchanga, Rutu, time, and Rashi, Graha, Bhava, and Nakshatra. We'll learn all of these in the next 2 or 3 classes, just the basics, so that you have enough knowledge for you to go ahead. Okay. So today I wanted to cover a couple of things. Rutavaha. Rutavaha are seasons in English, right? So what causes the seasons is the movement of the earth, both rotation as well as revolution. So as you know, we have Shat Ritus, 6 Ritus. Vasanta, Grishma, Varsha, Sharad, Hemanta, and Shishira. Okay. What Ritu are we in right now? Can anybody tell me?
Sharad
Ritu.
Sharad. Why is it Sharad Ritu?
Because it's Sharan Navaratri.
Exactly. That was the question that was the answer I was hoping for. Okay. So Sharad Ritu comes after Varsha Ritu, and the first day of what Masa is this?
Ashwija Masam.
Ashwajam.
Asvajamasam.
Can anybody tell me why it is called Ashweja Masa? Why? Where do the Masa?
Maybe nakshatra falls in that.
Something like that. Just
Yeah.
that we cover that also. Okay, so the first day of Ashweja Masa, which is Padyami, which comes after the Amavasya of Bhadrapada Masa, is the beginning day of Navaratri. Okay, and how many Navaratris do we have?
Two Navaratris.
Actually,
No, four Navaratris.
we have 4 or 6 depending on who you ask. 2 of them are very, very secret, and we have 4 other Navaratris. Okay.
Oh.
All right. So, so first for the Ritus, we will need to know we have Vasanta Ritu, Grishma Ritu, Varsha Ritu, Sharad Ritu, Hemant Ritu, and Shishir Ritu. So Shishir Ritu is winter. Okay, let's go back from Shishir Ritu. Then, okay, let's go forward. So Vasanta Ritu is spring in English. Okay, so what happens in spring? Basically, new life starts. When does our year start in the Telugu, Kannada, or Hindi calendar, whichever language you have? All the Indian calendars that we follow are Chandramana. So our calendars are based on the movement of the moon. While in the Western world, the calendar that we follow that starts from 1st of January starts with the movement of the sun. Even that, there is a lot of confusion that they created for themselves. For example, what is septa? What does septa mean? Septa means 7. Octa means 8. So September is supposed to be the 7th month of the year, but it is not. It is actually the 9th month of the year. And October should be the 8th month of the year, but it is actually the 10th month of the year. Why is this? Because Julius Caesar came in and he introduced 2 new months called June and July that are named after himself. So originally there were only 10 months in the Western calendar as well, and this perfectly coincides with these ritus as well. So forgetting the Western calendar for 1 second. So in spring, we call it Chaitra Masa. So we have all the grown-ups in this class may know, but for other, so we have Chaitram, Vaishakam, Jyeshtam, Ashadam, Shravanam, Bhadrapadam, Ashwijam, Kartikam, Margashirsham, Pushyam, Magham, and Phalgunam. So keep note of this. I don't expect you to remember them right away, but you will need to know the masas as well. Okay, and each masa correlates to a specific ritu. So Vasantam is spring, Grishma is summer, Varsha Ritu is rainy season, Sharad Ritu is autumn, where the leaves start falling. Okay. Hemanta Ritu is the time just before winter, which is when we get Kartika Masa, and then Shishir Ritu is winter. Okay. Okay, now coming to the meat of the class. Potatoes of the class, since we are all vegetarian. Okay, Tithescha Shriyamapnoti Varadayushya Vardhanam. I'll break it down. So here basically Panchanga. Atharv, have you heard about this word?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your understanding of Panchanga? Like when you hear the word Panchanga, what comes into mind?
It's basically what day it is in the Chandraman calendar.
Uttama. Perfect. Okay. So basically Pancha Anga. So 5 Angas of the day. So we have 5 sets of calculations that we use to understand and locate ourselves in time and space. Okay. So they are Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra, Yoga, Karana. And there is a sloka which I put here. Tithescha Shriyamapnoti Varada Yushya Vardhanam. So Tithehe Sha. So Tithi gives you Shriyam, which is wealth. Okay. Vara, which is the weekday, gives you Vardhanam, which is it gives you an abundance of anything. It increases whatever you have. Nakshatra, Nakshatrad Harate Papam. Nakshatra removes any sin. Yoga, Roga Nivaranam. And yoga removes any diseases or health problems that you have. Karanam, Karya Siddhi. Karanam gives Karya Siddhi. That is whatever you want to do, it makes you successful. Okay. Panchanga Phalamuttamam. Okay. Now, what is the obvious question here? How can knowing the Tithi or Vara or Nakshatra of a day give me all of these great things that are being mentioned? So today is Sunday. So it is like saying that, hey, if you know the day of the week, that will make you successful. There should be some logic in that, right? So why are they saying all this? That we'll try to briefly understand. Before we go there, the Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra, I will show you practically how we can figure them out. So does anybody know here how the Tithi is calculated? So today is what Tithi?
Chaturthi.
Chaturthi, Uttamam. Does anybody know, can anybody tell me why it is Chaturthi today?
Because of fourth day of the month.
Yes, that is fine. Fourth day of the month. But why? Why? What is the astrological or astronomical basis for saying that today is Chaturthi?
Based on the moon phases, waxing and waning.
Okay, that is correct. Okay, but okay, can you just by looking at the moon tell me what tithi it is without, if I had not mentioned that today is Chaturthi, how can we calculate it? That is a question. Okay, that we will try to do it practically in this class live. Okay, I will teach you why it is Chaturthi today. Okay, so what we will do is, let me bring up. Can anybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say we are going to look at the planetary positions for today. Okay. So today, what is the date today? Today is 6th October, right? So 10/6/2024. Let's say today, now I'll just put down the time right now, 8:45 a.m. Typically, tithis are calculated for during sunrise time. Okay. So even if we put sunrise, it won't be a big difference, but I'll just put 8:45 for now. And place of birth, we are in Irvine. So let's say we are in Irvine, United States. I also have to change the time zone to Pacific time. Okay. Now, just forget everything else that you see on screen. I will take a screenshot of this. And I will bring this up here. Okay. Now everybody can see this.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I actually posted a chart of all the symbols. So, but assuming that some of you may have seen it, some of you may not have seen it. Okay. So what tithi is ultimately is, it is Why does this thing not let me? Second. Okay, never mind. So this is the sun. Okay. So today in Irvine, let's say I'm sitting somewhere here and I look out at the sky with a telescope or whatever it is, and I look east, which is this. So I look in this direction. Okay. So let's say this is me. Okay. I have a telescope in my hand and I'm looking east. Okay. You take a compass, you'll understand what is east. And if I look to the east, which is this direction at sunrise. So sunrise in Irvine today was at 5:36 something. Okay. If I look east, that is where I will be able to see the moon. Okay. So the moon is this one here, 26 degrees moon and 13 degrees. So we don't need to go into all the mathematical specifics, but what Tithi is basically is the angle between the sun and the moon, very simply. So what is the angle between the sun and the moon? If I'm sitting in the center and this is a pizza, so basically from here to from here. So this angle is Tithi. So let's quickly calculate what it is. Okay. So each of these is, so think of this as a big pizza. Okay. One pizza with 12 slices in it. Okay. So 360 by 12 becomes each of these pizza slices is 30 degrees. So what we can do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So till the sixth slice, it will be 180 degrees, 6 into 30. And then 13 degrees the sun is. So we can say that if you jot it down here. So 180 plus the sun is at 13 degrees, just approximately. So 193 degrees. Okay. And the moon is at 7. So 7 into 30 is 21 plus 26. 210 plus 26 gives 236. Okay. So basically Tithi is the difference between these two. So how much do we get approximately? 236 minus 193. Athar, you want to be our mathematical wizard?
Around
36 plus 7, 43.
43. So now the difference in angle between the sun and moon today morning at 8:30 in Irvine is 43 degrees. Now, where is my Tithi chart? I had that somewhere. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll bring it up. Okay, that is your Tithi chart. Okay. So what this says is when the sun and moon are anywhere from 0 to 12 degrees apart in our pizza, it will be Pratipat. If they are 12 to 24 degrees apart, it will be Dvitiya. When they are 24 to 36 degrees apart, it will be Tritiya. When they are 36 to 48 degrees apart, it will be Chaturthi. What was the difference we got today morning?
43.
43. So what Tithi will it be?
Chaturthi.
Uttam. Till when will it be Chaturthi?
till 48.
48. How do you, so if I can calculate the speed of the moon, so if I'll go, let's go back to our, okay. So let's, where was that? So if we can calculate the speed of the moon every day on a daily basis and keep tracking it from here, here, and so on, we will know what tithi it is on that day. It's very simple. It's a very simple mathematical calculation. Okay. So now all of you know how to calculate the tithi. How do you calculate the tithi? Atharu, can you summarize for me?
You find the angle at which the moon and sun are at, and the difference, and then you find the range in which that number falls in.
That's it. How many total ranges do we have?
What is it? 15.
Uttamam. So now you know how to calculate the tithi for any given day. Okay. See, that was simple, right? So next time somebody asks you, hey, what is the tithi? You just tell them that the tithi is the angle between the sun and the moon. Done. That's it. Okay. We'll talk about why this is so important. If it's just the angle between the sun and the moon, why is it so important? Okay. What our ancients have said is, for every tithi, there are a set of things that are good for you. Like for example, this is a big list. Okay. Don't bother too much with the largest of the list, but it is more of a, it should give you, each tithi has a certain character, just like each person has a certain character. Okay. So there are some things which are very easily done on specific tithis. Like for example, today is Chaturthi. Chaturthi is basically associated with Ganesha. Okay. The fourth tithi of the month, whether in the bright half or the dark half, is associated with Ganesha. But Chaturthi is not supposed to be a good tithi. They say that on Chaturthi, it is very easy to get into fights with people, have disagreements with people. Right? And they say that you should not start any punya karyas or auspicious activities on Chaturthi. Right? So let's say, for example, somebody says, hey, pick a date or pick a time when you want to start your new job. Let's say they say, hey, you can start your new job on any day next week. Let's say the decision is in your hands. So what we do is, we say, okay, let us study the Panchanga for next week. Let's pick a good tithi. So good tithi for starting a new job would be Panchami is a good tithi, Dashami is a good tithi, Chaturdashi before Purnima is also a good tithi. So this is how the ancients have said that if you start a new job on that particular day, or if you start your college on that, if it is in your hands, if you start a new work or a new enterprise or a new initiative on the day of the tithi, when that is most beneficial for you, then you will be able to make progress faster. So let's say you want to start learning martial arts, okay? And let's say you want to start karate class. So what is a good tithi for starting a karate class may not be the good tithi for starting a new job. They're two separate things. So what we will do is, for karate class, probably you will have to find something like Shashti, right? That is good. Ashtami is excellent for fighting. Okay. Navami is also excellent for fighting. You have to pick a tithi like that. Okay. So each tithi has its character, just like each day has its character. So that is one of the reasons why they say that knowing the Panchanga is beneficial. Okay. That is about tithis. Then Vara. Vara we all know. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Can anybody give me their names in Sanskritam? Athar, why don't you try?
Somavasara, Mangalavasara, Budhasara, Guruvasara, was it Shukravasara, Shanivasara, Bhanuvasara.
Uttamam. Okay. Now I'll tell you a secret. In Samskrita, in Sanatana Dharma, our week always starts with which day?
Ravivara.
Yeah, Ravivara. So from Bhanuvasara, from Sunday. Sunday is actually the most important day of the calendar for us. And that they have ended up making that a holiday because the sun is the giver of life, he's the giver of prana, he's the giver of success, he's the giver of position, he's the giver of jobs, employment, wealth, everything comes from the sun. Okay. So for us, Bhanuvasara or Sunday is the most important day of the week. And we end up resting or sleeping or eating and just relaxing on that day. That is the day when we should be working very, very hard. Which day is the day that we are supposed to be relaxing? Can anybody guess?
Shanivasara.
Shanivasara, Uttamavataru, very good. Shanivara is the day when you are supposed to do mundane things like cleaning the house. If you want to do some spiritual activities, you can do. Shanivasara is excellent for that. And the rest of the day, they said just take rest. That is the day when you're supposed to be resting. Because each day, just like each tithi, also has a certain character to it. Some things are easier done on that day. Some things are harder to do on that day. Okay. Next, nakshatra. Nakshatra is again, they make it very, very complicated, but I'll tell you very simply. Put nakshatra is basically if you take our pizza that I had shown. Okay, again going back to this. Let me see if I can get rid of all these. Okay, if I take this and instead of dividing the sky into 12 parts, if I divide it into 27 parts. So each one will be a half like this. Look at the sky around you. Imagine a belt all around you, like we discussed in, where is that slide? This one. Oh, not this one. Yeah, this one. So imagine a belt around the earth, around the solar system. Okay. And here we have 12 divisions, which are the Rashis, but instead of 12 divisions, imagine 27 divisions. Each of those divisions becomes one nakshatra. Okay. Nakshatra basically, it is dividing the character of the day again into 2.5 parts. Okay. The math of that and all that, I don't think we have enough time for that. But basically, that is why nakshatra is important. So we are born in a certain nakshatra. Can anybody tell me what that means? When you say somebody says, hey, my nakshatra is Swati nakshatra, my nakshatra is Shravana nakshatra, my nakshatra is Ashwina nakshatra. Mathematically speaking, can anybody tell me what it means?
The time we born, the nakshatra falls. That is what our stars.
Yeah, but what star?
That's it.
What exactly does that mean? Like
Uh,
mathematically, what does it mean? Okay, so I will show you. So each of these divisions, this division, this division, this division, this division, each of these is 13 degrees, 20 minutes apart. Okay, so if you take 360, again, let's use a pizza analogy. So this is a big pizza of the sky around you. You are standing in the center and you made 27 parts of your pizza. Okay, so the part in which the moon is located becomes your nakshatra. Each of these parts has their names. So we begin always from Ashwini here. Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, Mrugashirsa, Ardra, Punarvasu, Aslesha, and so on and so forth. Okay. You find where the moon is on that particular day that you are born, and which part the moon is becomes your nakshatra. It's that simple. Okay. So, what is the nakshatra today? What is the easiest way of finding out the nakshatra today? Easiest way to do that would be just go to dikpanchang.com. Okay. And it will be given, change the city name to Irvine. It will be very clear.
Vishaka.
Vishaka. The nakshatra is Vishaka. Okay. So what that means is anybody, if a baby is born, let's say in Kaiser in Irvine today morning, or what is the time now? Is 9 a.m. So nakshatra changes once every day. Okay. So if it is Vishaka nakshatra now, it will be Vishaka nakshatra till. So this started probably yesterday around, each nakshatra lasts for around approximately 24 hours. So it must have started yesterday around 11 a.m. So now they are saying that Vishaka nakshatra up to 11 a.m. today. So if a baby is born now, his nakshatra will be Vishaka. The important thing that you learn today is why is it Vishaka? So which means when the baby is born, the moon here is in Vishaka nakshatra. Okay. All right. So nakshatra yoga. Yoga is again, we have 27 yogas. We don't use it that much in our daily lives. But again, basically, you take the sun's longitude, moon's longitude, and do some mathematical calculation with them. The reason yogas are used is for specific puja and ritual timings. So if there is a Ganapati puja is very, very good during specific yogas. So if you're interested, you can go into that. Karana is basically you take a tithi. So basically we said 15 tithis. You take a tithi, cut it down into half. Each half of that becomes one Karana. Okay. So yoga and Karana, we don't hear about that often. Whenever people say Panchanga, they'll insist on Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra, yoga and Karana. So basically, this is also the level of importance given to them. So Vara is more important than Tithi, Nakshatra is more important than Vara, yoga is more important than Nakshatra, and Karana is more important than yoga. Unfortunately, we don't use yoga and Karana much in our daily lives now. We stop with Nakshatras. That is also okay, as long as we know the Panchanga. That's why you should know the Panchanga for any given day. You should be able to tell at least the minimum is Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra. Any doubts about Panchanga? Okay. So next, Shatar, this is for you. You need to be able to list all the Navagrahas. Okay. So Aditya, so this particular sloka gives us the names of all the Navagrahas. Adityaya cha Somaya, Mangalaya cha Budhaya cha, Guru Shukra Shanibhyascha, Rahave Ketave Namaha. Can you tell me the names of the grahas in this?
Aditya,
Mm-hmm.
Soma,
Mm-hmm.
Mangala,
Mm-hmm.
Buddha,
Budha, Uttam,
Guru, Shukra, Shani, Ra, Rahu,
Rahu,
Ketu,
Ketu. That's it. Uttam. Give me their English names.
Aditya, sun.
Mm-hmm.
Soma is which one is that? Is it
Moon.
moon? Oh yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mangala, Mars.
Uh-huh.
Buddha,
Which planet gives Buddhi? Mercury.
Mercury. Oh, Mercury. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mercury. Guru. Is that one? No. I
Jupiter.
don't know which one Guru is.
Jupiter.
Jupiter. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Shukra. Is that one?
Who is the guru of the Daityas, of the Asuras? Shukracharya. So he is Venus. Shukra is Venus.
Okay. Shukra.
Okay.
Venus. Shani, Saturn. Rahu is Neptune or Uranus.
So Rahu and Ketu are called shadow planets. They are not mapped to any physical planets. Okay. So Rahu and Ketu are, if you take the moon and you put 2 points where there is the maximum force of the moon acting on, you can think of it as the north pole and the south pole of the moon, but not on the physical surface of the moon. It is at a space behind and in front of the moon. Okay. Those 2 points of where the polarity of the moon is maximum, one is called Rahu, and where the polarity of the moon is minimum is called Ketu. Okay. They are not planets that you can see with your physical eyes, but more, you can call up them magnetic points in space that have an effect on the earth. Okay. So Adityaya cha Somaya, Mangalaya Budhaya cha, Guru Shukra Shanibhyascha, Rahave Ketave Namaha. This is a sloka that we are supposed to recite every day in the morning. So like I said in my very first class, the grahas are not just physical orbs in space. They are actual entities, they are actual devatas that can have a beneficial or a not so beneficial effect on us depending on our previous karma. So the ancients have given us this sloka and said that if you recite this every day morning, it is beneficial for you, in that you will gain a relationship with the grahas themselves, with the grahadipatis themselves. Okay. All right. So that was about Panchanga. I wanted to cover that at the starting of the class so that we know what people are talking about when they say Panchanga. Most people just say Panchanga, they'll say, hey, today is this tithi, but most people don't really understand why it is that tithi on that particular day and how it is significant to us. Okay. So, think we covered Ravi, Chandra, Mangala, Buddha, Bruhaspati, Shukra, and Shani in the last class. Okay. So, like I said, you can think of these as all the 7 different kinds of people that you see around you, their character, what their likes are, what their dislikes are, things like that, right? All of those things. And basically, these planets also have the same characteristics. Okay. And what they do is when we are born with a certain planetary, you can say that arrangement in space. Okay. And these will bring out the same characteristics in us at the specific time. Okay, I think we covered a little bit of this also. So sun, moon, every graha has its own characteristics. Now, the graha's characteristics or the graha's vibrations cannot be good and bad. Good and bad are something that man has created for ourselves. So my guru used to say, God created only good days. Man created good and bad days. Okay, depending on our behavior, depending on what actions we have performed in this life and in our previous lives, the graha's vibrations will act on us in a way that those behaviors will come out within us. Like I said, the whole purpose for learning astrology is to understand what we have done previously, what we are doing now, how that is leading to good or bad effects, and how we can rectify ourselves. Okay. So, like I said, Surya, when somebody is vibrating well to Surya, they become leaders. Essentially, in one word, they become leaders. So, all the IAS officers, presidents, prime ministers, okay, the principal in your school, maybe if you go to the police station in Irvine, the head superintendent in that police station will be the Ravi or Surya of that particular police station. What it means is, in his particular horoscope, if you look at the grahas that are arranged in his particular horoscope, the sun will be the strongest. Okay. Chandra gives great imagination. So some people can close their eyes, just think for 1 second, and they can imagine a beautiful scenery in front of them with the mountains, with the sun, with the river flowing, with the green trees, the leaves on the trees, the fruits on the trees, and they can just draw it out very nicely on a piece of paper. Okay. Some people have a very, very hard time imagining. So the one thing that I will say is Chandra gives creativity rather than just imagination. Some people are very, very creative. For example, because it is Navaratri, I'll give you a Navaratri example. So during Navaratri, they do this thing called Bommalakolu, right? They put all these figures of different gods and goddesses. They try to recreate some scene from the Ramayana or Mahabharata or from Devi Bhagavata, right? They put lots of colors, beads, and all of those things. So creative genius is something given by Chandra. People who have a very strong Chandra in their horoscope will be very, very creative in everything that they do. So, for example, take a carpenter, right? Or a sculptor. If you look at a big block of marble, you'll say, hey, that's a marble stone. It's a big block of marble. I wonder how expensive that is. But if the same thing, if a sculptor looks at it, he'll say, oh, wow, I can make a nice idol of Krishna. And he'll start imagining the idol of Krishna, what it will look like on after he finishes sculpting in the marble. And then he will take a chisel and a hammer and he'll start working on the marble. And he's able to just finish the idol of the Krishna within a few hours. So that creative genius, that level of creativity, not everybody will have. That is the boon or the blessing given by Chandra, a strong Chandra. Same Chandra, if that person is not vibrating well to Chandra, okay, we'll understand what makes Chandra good or bad in a given person's chart later. But if he is not vibrating well Chandra, it leads to fickle mindedness. So it's same example of a sculptor. He'll think, oh, let me learn sculpting. Then on day 2, he will say, no man, I get bored of sculpting very easily. Let me learn cooking. On day 3, he will say, no, cooking is too boring. Let me see if I can learn some cardio exercise or something like that, right? On day 4, his interest will change. So that interest, that fickle mindedness of not being able to do anything perfectly. So we call them jack of all trades, master of none, right? Everything they can talk about for a few minutes, but if you ask them to go into depth on any particular subject, they won't have that. So if Chandra is basically if that person is not vibrating well to Chandra in their horoscope, then that is the result. Mangala or Mars, he gives courage. So I'll give you a short example, right? So let's say you go out on the road, you're walking on the road, and an old person is also walking. And then you see somebody trying to come, and let's say it's an old woman and she has a purse in her hand and somebody comes and grabs that purse. Now, different people will react differently to that situation. Okay. One
No,
person will look
yeah.
at that. Sorry, who was that?
Somesha, Asti.
Namaste, Mahodaya. Yes.
Sorry, I'm a bit late.
Yeah, no worries. So one person will see, hey, that guy is trying to rob that lady's purse. I must help that lady, and immediately he'll go and grab the robber, okay, or the thief. The other person will think, I also have some money in my pocket. Let me run away from here. Maybe he'll target me next. Another person will think, let me take out my new iPhone and take a video of this whole thing. I'll upload it to YouTube later. Maybe that will get lots of likes. Okay. One more, and the other person will think, will just stand there and stare like it's something happening on TV. He'll take no action at all. So, like I said, we have different kinds of people. If the person who is vibrating very well to Mangala or Mars has a ton of courage within themselves, they are the first people who will respond if there is a danger situation or help, or if somebody needs their help physically and they need to help, they are the first people to say that, hey, are you moving from your this house to the next house? Let me come over, maybe I can lift some things for you, right? So courage, valor, the ability to do hard work, hard manual work, all of these are the blessings given by Kuja or Mars to somebody who is vibrating very well to Kuja or Mars. Okay. If Kuja or Mars, if they're not vibrating well to Mars, then those people are exactly the kind of people that you see on the road, right? If there is a fight happening, you will see a big crowd gathered around that fight. Nobody will intervene. Nobody will try to stop two people from fighting, but they enjoy the fact that two people are quarreling. Okay. People who are vibrating, not by vibrating well to Mars, are the people who use profanity, who use a lot of bad words, right? They keep fighting for every silly reason whatsoever. They try to pick a fight with others all the time. I'm sure you must have seen people like that in your school as well. Someshanathar, right? People who badmouth others, those are the people who are vibrating very badly to Kuja or Mars. Bruhaspati or Jupiter. What was the other name for Guru? Guru. Sorry, Guru is the other name for Jupiter. Guru gives guidance in life. I spoke about this in my last class. The person that you trust the most in life, right? The person who you go to when you have a problem. For children, it may be their parents. For grown-ups, it may be their previous boss or maybe their previous manager. It may be somebody elderly in their family. It may be their guru. If they follow a guru, then it might be them. For some people, it may not be a human being. It can be Bhagavad Gita. They may start reading a book which will give them the solution. There are lots of people who I know who will just, if they have a certain situation in life, they will take Bhagavad Gita and they'll just open a page at random and read what is on that page, and they will get the solution that they need to basically practice to get rid of that particular problem. So even a book can be a guru. What happens if Bruhaspati, if they are not vibrating well to Bruhaspati? Basically indulgence. So people with a very good Jupiter, they like good things in life. So, for example, like eating good food, they'll not eat at some outside roadside place. They'll always eat in a good restaurant, or they will cook it by themselves at their house. If they're not vibrating well to Brahaspati, basically they become indulgent. Indulgent is having too much of something. Even having too much of something is not good for you, right? So if you eat 2 Mysore Pak pieces, then that is good. If you eat 20, obviously you will get indigestion. Next, Shukra. Shukra is love. Love in all forms. Right? Unconditional love. So what Mirabai had for Krishna is unconditional love. Whether or not Krishna came to her, she would always adore him, praise him, write poems on him, keep singing about him, worship him, all that. So that is also Shukra. Selfish love. Hey, if I love you so much, so you have to buy this nice Bentley for me. That is also love. So love can be of different grades depending on the person. So Shukra can give both. He can give unconditional devotional love to a deity or to a person or to a guru. He can also give conditional selfish love to some object. It can be to a person, it can be to an animal, it can be anything. So love can be in many, many different grades. Can anybody here tell me what the highest grade of love is called in Samskrita? Highest grade of love is unconditional love. So love that does not expect anything back. That is called bhakti. So we have a special word for it. Prema is the normal everyday love that you hear about. So the love a mother has for the son, or for son for his parents, or whatever it is, or the love that a car salesman has for you when you walk into the showroom hoping that you will buy something and he'll get a raise out of it, whatever it is. Bhakti is what the ancients have called unconditional love. So you can only have bhakti for God or for the Guru. So that is love that has absolutely no boundaries, does not expect anything in return. Narada called it Parama Prema Rupa. So he did not just call it Prema, he called it Parama Prema. Parama Prema is Prema without any strings attached. Okay, so that is the gift of Shukra or Venus. Now, if Shukra is not good, or that's why I keep saying if the person is not vibrating, there is no question of the Graha being not good. It is a question of the person not having the right karmas to vibrate to that Graha in their past. So if Shukra is not good, then that leads to jealousy. Very simply. Shani gives discipline. Like I said, if some people, if they want to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, they don't need an alarm. They automatically they'll wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Some people will keep hitting the snooze button on that alarm for every 5 minutes and they'll wake up at by 9 a.m. sharp. So Saturn, Shani gives that level of discipline in certain person's life. If that person is not vibrating to Shani well, then all hell breaks loose. Basically, the easiest way to describe such people is self-pity. So I don't have this, I don't have that. My father did not give me this, my mother did not give me that. The teacher gave somebody else extra marks. She graded his paper really well, right? I was not born with a strong enough physical structure that I can take part in sports. Whatever it is, he'll blame this, that, this god, this person, that chair, this table, everything. Keep blaming, but no real action comes out of him. That is the nature of a person who is not vibrating well to Shani. So Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto will leave for later. But for these 6 grahas here, you need to understand the basic characteristics of each graha. Okay, Surya gives expansion in life. Chandra gives imagination, like that. Now, diving a little bit deeper into this, each graha also dictates certain professions, right? So you should be able to make up this list by yourself by now, because I just told you the basic characteristics of each graha. So Sun gives power. So all the people in power. Kings, influential people is sitting in the government, CEOs of companies, right? CTOs, CEOs, CFOs of companies. Your father at home, who is the most influential person in the house? Father. Sun houses, it is the mother. If it is the mother in that house, then basically the Surya is working through her. If it is the father, the Surya is working through her. Chandra gives basically public services, people who work in public service. Like for example, your electricity board in California, we have Southern California Edison. They provide public utilities. Anything that people use on a daily basis, right? Public services. And Chandra represents the mother. Chandra, the moon always represents the mother in a person's chart. How is their mother? Mother is always good, but how is the relationship of the person with their mother? That is dictated by Chandra. So are they good to their mother? Are they not good to their mother? Will they listen to their mother? Will they get beatings from the mother? All of that you can tell by looking at a person's horoscope. Mars, again, anything to do with force. Anything to do with force. Basically, martial arts, guns, weaponry, missiles, rockets, iron, steel, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, acids, right? All the things which have force behind them are represented by Mars. And you can imagine any profession that uses force, right? So, for example, okay, here's a pop quiz, right? Let's say you walk into a hospital. Which profession in a hospital is dictated by Mars? Anybody tell me?
Surgery.
Exactly. So who uses tools? Who uses sharp knives? Who uses saws to cut open people and all that? So that is Mars. So if a person becomes a doctor, and if Mars is very, very well placed in their chart, they are very likely to become a surgeon. The same person, if Saturn is very placed in their chart, Saturn rules over skin, so he will become a dermatologist or a cosmetic surgeon. So that is how you can, any profession you take, then what you should do is when you walk around, if you, let's say, for example, okay, let me finish this list and then I'll give you more examples. Mercury, anything to do with communication, very simple. Reading, writing, typing, printing, anything to do with books, anything to do with your iPad, with your computer, with programming, development, anything where you need to write or read something is governed by Buddha or Mercury. Okay, letters, all of those things. Shukra governs all the enjoyments in your life. So good food, good drinks, right? Beauty, Shilpa Shastra, Natya Shastra, basically all the fine arts, drawing, painting, dance, poetry, literature. If you like creating, like I said, if you're creating, if you have hobbies such as decorating your house, putting up Christmas decorations, right? Making your room look nice, putting up paintings in your room. For women, it can be jewelry, buying jewelry, the kind of jewelry that they like, all of that are governed by Shukra. Jupiter, cash, very simply. So anything to do with money, finance, with the guru, basically the higher principles in life. That's why money is so important. In Sanatan Dharma, money or finance is also a form of Shakti. That is why we never disrespect money. So when elders say you should not touch books or money with your foot, that is exactly what they say. Those two are Shakti. So books give us knowledge, which enables us to earn money, which enables us to feed ourselves. So both of these are very, very important powers, you can say, in our lives. So Jupiter governs all the places where money is stored and money is made. He also governs. So in your house, can you tell me which room Jupiter would govern? Where you
Puja room? Puja
Puja, Uttamam. And where else?
room? Study? Study room?
Study room is governed by Mercury because you're sitting there studying and reading and
Oh,
reading.
yeah, Buddha, right? Yeah.
So Jupiter would also govern your your strong room, where you keep your money, your almirah, wherever you're
Oh, okay,
studying.
northeast corner.
That is different. That is a different topic altogether. So each graha also dictates the directions. But in your house, where you store your money, where you store your gold, your jewelry, your shares, right? All of these
Right.
things are also governed by Jupiter. Okay.
Okay.
Shani again. The moment you think of Shani, remember all the individual words that I'm saying when I say each planet, right? So sun, power, moon, mother, Mars, courage, Mercury, communication, Venus, enjoyment, Jupiter, dhana. You can say dhana or you can also say guru. Guru is the best word for Jupiter. Not just for him, but also for what he governs. Shani is manual work. Anywhere that manual work is involved, where you have to actually use your hands and legs to do something, is governed by Shani, Saturn. So if somebody is vibrating very, very well to Shani in their horoscope, they'll become a contractor. All the billionaires that you hear of around you, right? Jeff Bezos, Ambani, Ratan Tata, these people who keep appearing in the house. Can you tell me which planet is the most important planet to become a billionaire out of all of these?
Saturn.
Guru?
I heard two, Saturn and Guru. Anybody else? Any other guesses?
And Shukra, I think Shukra gives luxurious life, so that
Okay.
I hope
Shani.
Shukra.
All the billionaires, what they have in common is Shani. A very, very well placed Shani will give billions. Jupiter, Guru, Shukra, all of these people will give comfort, but they will not make you a billionaire. So that is why Shani is important. Shani will also give misery. And if you are disciplined in life, if you have been disciplined in your previous lives, Shani will also make you a billionaire. And billionaire not in terms of only money, Even spiritually also, he will make you a billionaire. So the greatest gift Shani gives you is Atma Sakshatkara. So Shani is the graha capable of giving Atma Sakshatkara and Brahma Sakshatkara for those who are spiritually inclined. So that is why people have a very, very bad concept or bad notion of Shani, but that is not so. That is exactly opposite of what he actually is. Okay. And also Shani also governs the elderly people in the house. So if you have grandmothers, grandfathers, any other patients that need care, he also governs Shani. So people, for example, who disregard their parents when they get older, people who leave their parents and do some other work, right? People who don't take care of their parents' medical expenses, people who put their parents in old age homes. You can take it in writing that in their next janma, Shani will be in a very, very niche position because in this life they are not doing their duty. It is very simple, and they will get punished for it. Conversely, people who are respectful to elders, people who take care of their parents, people who do their duty. Basically, Shani is he just sees your duty is A, B, and C. Are you doing it or not? If you're doing A, B, and C very well, then he will give you whatever rewards he needs to give you. If you're not doing A, B, and C very well, then basically you will have to face the consequences. That's it. Shani does not do anything bad to anyone. He just gives you the rewards of what you have earned in the past. That's it. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, now we will briefly describe Vastu in one slide. Okay. Now that you know the characters of each graha, you can also describe which room in your house is dictated by that particular graha. Okay. So Surya, Ravi, I just said power, administrator. So if your house has a puja room, that will be the centerpiece of your house. So in the old days, in Vastu, in India, the houses were always built around the puja room. They would have the puja room in the center and all the rooms would be around the puja room because that is governed by Ravi or Surya. If that room is kept neat and clean and if the right amount of puja or ritual or whatever it is, whatever spiritual practice is going on in the house, then the rest of the house, we call them Subhiksha. Subhiksha is basically they would have everything that they want. Children would be married at the right time, kids will get jobs at the right time, the kids will study well, they will get into top universities. Basically, any need or want of the family gets fulfilled if the puja room is vibrant. Chandra, moon. Mars, when you think of Mars, the first thing you should think of is mother, and then the next thing is water. Because Mangala is all, Chandra also denotes water. So, the bathroom, the drains, the water pipes, if you have a water tank on top of the house, if you have a septic tank where all the waste goes, all of that is governed by Chandra. So let's say somebody is not vibrating well to Chandra, what will happen? Their water pipes will burst during that particular place, or maybe they won't get enough good drinking water to drink, or they may get certain illnesses where the blood in their bodies may be too thick and it won't flow properly, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, all of these are caused by the water being misgoverned in our bodies. Same thing in the house as well. Kuja is fire. Mars, I just told you, right? Anywhere where there is force. So the kitchen, where is fire in the house? In the kitchen, right? So your cooking place is governed by Mars. Mercury or Buddha governs, I just said communication. So where do you sit and talk to other people in the house? So your living room, wherever your TV is, where you hear, where you speak, where you write letters. Also, if you are working from home, then your computer desk, where you are sitting every day, that is governed by Mercury. So sending emails, receiving emails, chatting with people, chatting on Zoom right now, right? Guru is again where money is kept, and to some extent also where your puja rooms. And Shani is where you store all your things. So if you go to Artesia and you get groceries, and the place where you store all that rice and papu and dal and vegetables, all of those things, you are going to use one place in your house for storage, right? Probably for many people, it will be the pantry. Or some people put them in the garage. So that is governed by Shani. Okay. Any questions?
Where do we get the information about all these sun, moon, Mars, all the information characteristics and everything? So you gave me the briefly, right? So we want to go through more deeply into that. So where do we get the information?
Tamam. What I'm giving you is basically the smell or the flavor of
Yes.
Jyotisha. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Details will be in Jyotisha books. So basically,
Oh,
if anybody is interested, you can read number one. If anybody does not know Samskrita and they want to read Jyotisha in English, then you can read the books of Alan Leo, Alanleo. So he was an interesting guy. He is a British guy who came to India, learned Jyotisha from the Indians, and wrote the books in English. You want to read Jyotisha for beginners, then Alan Leo's books are great. Okay. Now, we have classical texts on Jyotisha, the most important of which is called Bruhat Jataka by a person called Varaha Mihira. The name of the book is Bruhat Jataka. So there are translations available in English, Telugu, Kannada, Tamil, Malayalam, whatever it is. You can buy those translations. So if you buy Bruhat Jataka and the first two chapters of it, the problem with Jyotisha books is unless you have this background knowledge, you won't be able to understand even a single line.
yeah.
So it takes about 2 or 3 months of classes. I was told that we only have 2 or 3 classes here. But if anybody is interested to go deeper into these details, we can set up a separate class that is outside of this. But basically, Burajjataka of Varaha Mihira, or in English, you can read the works of Alan Leo. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Somesh, I don't know if you joined during this particular slide, but these are the things that I want you and Athar to be comfortable with. Okay. So if I ask you what is a Panchanga, both of you should be able to answer in your sleep. Literally. Okay. So Panchanga, you should know the Ritus, you should be able to tell the 6 Ritus, what months they are, the names of the Masas in the Samvatsara in the year, and the Varas in Samskrita. And then I will cover Rashi, Graha. Graha we are already covering right now. So next class we will cover the Rashis, the zodiac signs, the 12 zodiac signs, what they are and their characteristics, and the 27 nakshatras. Okay. So this is your syllabus.
Mahodaya, what is Samvatsara, Masan, and what is Samvatsara?
Samvatsara is year.
Samvatsara
Literally,
is year.
yeah,
Okay.
Sanskrit word for year. Samvatsara. Okay.
Mm.
Masa is month.
Okay.
So just like we have the 12 months in English, we have the 12 months in Sanskrit as well. Okay. And Vara is
A week, yeah.
day, weekday. Yes, or week. You can also say that. Okay. Weekday. Okay. So Rashi is zodiac sign. Graha is what we are just describing, the planets and their orbits and their characteristics. Bhava, we will come into that in the next class. And nakshatra, the 27 nakshatras, the names of the nakshatras. I don't expect you to remember everything about that because 2 or 3 classes left. So I want you to know the names, and if anybody is interested, we'll have a separate set of classes to go deeper into these concepts. Okay.
Okay.
This is more like taking you to the ice cream store and showing you all the flavors. I'm not letting you eat the ice cream yet. Okay. Just showing you, hey, this is strawberry flavor, this is raspberry flavor, that is vanilla flavor. Because to actually eat the ice cream, it will take time. This is basically an overview of Jyotisha. What are all the different components of Jyotisha and how they can help us? Later, we'll get into the details if anybody has interest. Okay, we are on time. Any other questions?
Is Ritu the season, Mahodaya?
Ritu is the season. I think you did not get in at that time. Okay, so I will describe the Ritus again in the next class.
Okay.
The slide with the Ritus. Yeah, these are the Ritus. I'll make these slides available to you and Athar. Just go through them.
Yes, please do, Mahodaya.
Okay. Now, Athar, you want to say the closing prayer? You're on mute, Athar. Still on mute.
Now can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I just had to increase the volume.
Okay.
So it's just Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, right?
Yes, anything you want.
Okay. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Okay. One last thing. So if anybody wants to buy books or if they're interested, there are at least the main books are Bruhat Jataka. There is Bruhat Parashara Hora Shastra. There is Jataka Kalanidhi. There is Jataka Chandrika. There are probably 20 or 30 books. Okay. If you try to read all of them, you'll get very, very confused. So always go to Bruhat Jataka or Laghu Jataka. Those are the two books that are the primary and advanced. The great thing about those books is they are used by people who are just learning astrology. They are also used by someone who has mastered astrology and who has been practicing for the past 40 or 50 years. The books are the same. How you understand. So Bhagavad Gita, like that, if you read the sloka now, you will understand it in a certain way. If you read it after 30 years, you will understand it completely differently. Okay. So the books are the same. The principles are the same. But as we develop as people in knowledge and experience, we will understand the same books differently. Okay. Okay. Thank you all. Dhanyavadaha. We'll meet again in the next class. Punarmilamaha.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
Dhanyawad.